The Pro Football Report, presented by BCWSA, a weekly recap of your Eagles and news around the NFL. Broadcasting live from Chickies and Pete's. Tonight's show is brought to you by Rob's Automotive and Collision, BCWSA, Chickies and Pete's, Allstate Fairless Hills Tom LaCroix, and Penworth Financial Services, Penn Community Bank, Capital Grill, Ventresca's LTD, Independence Blue Cross, and SEPTA. We now go live to Chickies and Pete's for the Pro Football Report, presented by BCWSA. Now, here are your hosts, Eagles insider Dave Spadaro and voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, Merrill Reese.
And here we are, and good evening, everyone. Great to be with you at Chickies and Pete's in the great Northeast, and this is a great time of year as the Eagles head for the NFC Championship game. It is Merrill Reese, Mr. Outsider, with Mr. Insider Dave Spadaro. Boy, and we have a great mystery guest coming up in just a bit.
Merrill, I am thrilled to be here. Thrilled that the Eagles are where they are. The 8th NFC Championship game appearance for the Philadelphia Eagles since the 2001 season, all the way back to when the Eagles went to Los Angeles to play the Rams and had the Rams on the ropes.
To St. Louis.
Yes,
not to Los Angeles.
Right, I didn't say Los Angeles. To play the Rams.
Yes.
And had the Rams on the ropes in the Dome, had some injuries, and since then the Eagles have gone 3-4 in these games, looking to get to 4-4 on Sunday against the Washington Commanders. If you had drawn it up at the beginning of the season and said that the Eagles will host the NFC Championship game, you would be thrilled, and that it is against a young and very talented and very dangerous Commanders team makes it all the better. The NFC East is back.
Well, they are. They really are. Now, I would have predicted that the Eagles would be in this NFC Championship game because I felt going into the season that this was a very, very complete team. But on the other hand, I never would have thought that the Commanders would be the team coming here for the NFC Championship game, and they showed what can be done if you have a decent owner. Now, I don't know what kind of an owner Harris is for that team, but when you get rid of a Daniel Snyder, a weight is lifted off an entire franchise that held it back for a lot of years.
You know, also, Merrill, we hear a lot of people say that the quarterback position is the most important position in all of sports. And I think the Washington Commanders are a great example of that. They have ridden the talent, the leadership, the poise, the versatility, the brilliance of Jaden Daniels.
You just used 8 adjectives.
To reach their
That is a record. Your previous record was 3.
I'm feeling very inspired tonight to reach their first NFC Championship game appearance since, get this, 1992, when they went on to beat the Buffalo Bills and win the Super Bowl.
That's amazing.
It's incredible.
That is amazing.
And as much as Josh Harris, who is reviled in Philadelphia at the moment, has done a great job turning around the fortunes of Washington, we would both agree that Jaden Daniels is something special.
He is. Ron Jaworski said at the beginning of the season, early in the season, that he's the best rookie quarterback he's ever seen. And I thought, well, you know, it's a little early to say that. That's a big statement, best rookie quarterback he's ever seen. I have to agree with him. Yeah. I can remember a lot of great rookies coming out, but not to the degree where he takes a team and carries it all the way to the NFC Championship game. I mean, I think he is amazing.
Really unfazed. Like, we all watched the game on Saturday against Detroit. Detroit, a heavy favorite in that game. Washington went toe-to-toe with them. They played such confident football. They went for it on 4th down 4 times. They made it 3 of those times. You know, Daniels, with his ability to run and his calm presence in the pocket, his accurate throwing, Merrill, he's done it all, and he will be a huge, huge handful for the Eagles, for Vic Fangio, who today said that Daniels was the best rookie quarterback he has ever seen.
He agreed with that statement.
Yeah.
He did agree with that
statement. And so there's a
statement.
lot to talk about. It's not just Jaden Daniels. The Eagles split the series with Washington. They beat up on Daniels when he was hurt early in the season. And then in December 22nd, a tough loss in Landover, Maryland. Jalen Hurts goes down. The Eagles give up 22 points in the 4th quarter, and the season series is even at 1 with the tiebreaker on Sunday with everything on the line.
It's going to be something. It really is going to be something. We have a guest with us tonight. a young broadcaster just starting out in the business, and we figured we'd give him an opportunity to take the microphone tonight and get some game experience. And with that, I welcome my longtime partner in the broadcast booth, one of the great color analysts, and a 5-time All-Pro wide receiver, Mike Quick.
Woo! Thank you very
Great,
much.
great to have you with us.
What's with all of the big jackets?
It's cold out there. It's cold in
out
here.
there. Okay.
I'm going to sit back here and just observe and tell you how honored I am that you're both here,
Stop
and
it.
that I'm able to be part of this with such a great tandem that has been enlightening us, entertaining us, and a part of our lives for so many years.
Well, we just brought you here because we're so tired of talking back and forth that we figured you would fill some of the void.
Yes, and you're the insider.
You're the insider.
You're the insider.
With all the inside
I'm the
information.
outsider.
Right.
Mike is somewhere
Somewhere in between.
between.
He's in a good place.
No,
He goes to
wanna-
practice, and they think he's one of them.
We want to know what's happening on the inside.
Well, that's why I'm here. Let's go. I want to know what's happening in the broadcast booth and what's happening through your eyes as it pertains to this game. Merrill's been on top of this and really has had the great pulse of the Philadelphia Eagles the entire season. Mike, are you in any way surprised that the Eagles are in the NFC Championship game?
Am I surprised? I can't really say I'm surprised, but I am, just watching this team from week to week, the growth of the team, the way the whole trajectory of this team after the bye week, there was something special about it. And each and every week, you see guys that are doing things that you hope that they would do, but you never really know until they do it. And to see the growth of a lot of these young players and what they're doing, it's really special. And I think this is a special season for this team.
I have to be honest with you. We have a little thing in the booth at the end of the preseason where Joe McPeak, our producer, gives us a big card.
Yes.
And we have to put the order of finish in the NFC East and the records. And I picked the Eagles with a 14-3 record. I don't know what you picked. You were somewhere in the
I had them winning 13 games.
13.
Yes.
So that's 13-4.
Yes.
So that's pretty good. So we were right around there. But after 4 games, flying home from a 33-16 drubbing in Tampa Bay,
Yeah.
I can't tell you that I was confident. But I have learned something. And I have learned that Nick Sirianni and Howie Roseman are doing it right. I watched the Lions, who won 15 games this year.
Right.
I watched the Lions, and they played and lost to Washington mostly because they had 18 defensive players on injured reserve. And that is the one team that works in the summer the way they did when Vermeil used to bring 120 people into camp. They bang, they're physical, they start starters in the preseason games. Nick hangs in there and keeps it very, very light.
It's a good
and I
point.
think that's a major reason why the Eagles are heading into this game almost at full strength.
I mean, I agree with that. The health of a football team is so important, but I think there's also some really interesting factors that you can look at. I mean, at 2-2, the defense really that day against Tampa did not respond to the way they came out with the tempo, quick, getting the ball out of the hands of Baker Mayfield, made the change to go from Avonte Maddox to Cooper DeJean at the nickel position. That was a big plus for the defense. The offense started to become, I guess, maybe a little bit more Saquon Barkley-centric, turned it into kind of a run offense. That made a big difference. And then the really tangible thing is the turnover ratio, Merrill, that we've talked about.
Well, they were
minus
-6.
-6, and they're now plus 17.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
in these playoffs in 2024 in the NFL, the teams that have won the turnover department are 7-0. The
That's right.
Eagles are 22-1 in their last 23 games when they've had the margin of turnovers in their favor. The exception is the loss at Washington. So it really kind of boils down to that. Is that as simple as football is?
Well, it's not as simple as football is, but what it is a major, major factor. I will predict right now that the team that wins the turnover battle on Sunday wins the game.
Well, when you listen to the stats that Dave's throwing out there, you would say that for sure. I go back to, you want to talk about the early part of the season, and I think it's this. It's a lot of the coaching staff. You start with a new offensive coordinator. You start with a new defensive coordinator. So in those early games, you're just figuring out who people are when you're the one that's calling the plays. For Kellen Moore, for Vic Fangio, they had to take at least a couple of months to even learn these players and know in certain positions I can count on this guy to do this. If I've got a blitz called on certain situations, I don't know if I can count on Zach Bond to hit the hole that he's supposed to hit, or I can count on Nakobe Dean to do what he's supposed to do. But after some time, you start to realize who the players are. And I think that's why, as time went on, you saw how the defense started to come together and play a whole lot better. It's because if I'm calling the plays, if I'm trying to move these guys around the board and put them in the best position for them to be successful, for them to be effective, it takes time for me to understand who these people are and what I can count on them doing. So Vic Fangio is in that place now where he knows exactly what he has. Kellen Moore is in that situation where he knows exactly what he has and what he doesn't have. So they're in a much better place to call games, to put these guys in, as coaches speak, in positions to be successful.
You know, I love Andy Reid. He's a Hall of Fame coach. Maybe he'll end up as the winningest coach of all time. Great coach. Not a good press conference coach when he was in Philadelphia. He used to start out by clearing his throat, giving you two or three little mentions, and then say, every week he would say, time's yours. But one thing Andy Reid used to say after a win or after a loss, he'd say it's like a great big pie and everybody owns a piece.
Yes.
And the other thing he used to say, and it was a big cliche, but he always said it, he said, it's my job to put the players in position to make plays. Well, you know what? Nobody exemplifies that more than Vic. Vic Fangio has put
It's really good.
Zach Bond in the right place to make plays, Nakobe Dean in the right place. Look what he's done with Nolan Smith. He has taken the talents of these players and utilized them to the nth degree.
I also think that we should recognize the position coaches for doing a great job developing Nolan, who really didn't contribute a lot as a rookie and now is a force as a pass rusher, sets the edge very well against the run, plays tough, aggressive, runs to the ball. The way Jalen Carter has gone from a good and promising rookie to one of the best defensive players in the NFL.
For sure.
The way Moro Ojoma has become an inside force as a pass rusher. The way Nakobe Dean stepped up. You know, the way Reed Blankenship went from somebody that you think would be a good third safety to somebody who's a really good player in the NFL. The way they got the rookies up and ready to play. That's also position coaching in an era where it's not like when you played, Mike. These guys are barely on the practice field.
Right. So I had that conversation with Nick Sirianni after the game the other night, and just talking about the position coach, exactly what you're talking about. And that is the difference, that you've got guys who are very detailed in the way they're coaching these guys and the fundamentals, making sure that the basics are there. You didn't miss Christian Parker, the defensive backs coach.
I've heard so much about him.
The guy is such a technician. And so when you look at Clint Hurt, the defensive line coach, Parker, the other safeties coach, all of these guys, they put a lot of time into these players. They get to know these players. But the fundamentals, they harp on the fundamentals each and every practice. You're right. I get a chance to go out and watch what they do.
You do.
And I watched how detailed they are in their preparation. And that is a big, big plus and a big reason why these guys – so the little things, when you do all the little things correctly, the big things take care of themselves, and that's what they do. They work on the little details, and they get them right.
I sometimes go overboard and say things. Yeah, I do, every now and then. And say things too early. I mean, listen, the other night when Saquon scored, Cindy,
yes,
I didn't look at my text until I got home. I looked at my phone, and Cindy wrote at the time, right after Saquon scored, and I said, that should wrap it up. And Cindy texted me. And she said, stop it. I can say, she said, stop it. Right?
Yeah.
But I didn't read her text. I don't look at the phone during the game. But I'm going to say something right now, and you guys could tell me I'm way overboard. But I'm going to make a statement. Are you ready for this one? Jalen Carter will turn out to be the best defensive lineman the Eagles have had since Reggie White.
I don't think that's overboard at all. I mean, I think Fletcher Cox was an all-decade player of the 2010s and a great player, but he didn't have the down-in, down-out, double-team, triple-team impact that Jalen Carter has had this season.
Correct.
This kid ruins offensive blocking schemes.
Yep.
He ruins offenses. And I think Sunday, we'll talk about the game, of course, but he will have to be a one-man wrecking machine again against Washington. And I think Jalen is capable of doing that. As long as he stays hungry, stays humble, and focused, he has that kind of ability.
See, I asked Vic at his press conference today, I said to him, do you have to watch yourself with Jalen Carter that you don't praise him too much this fast so that his head gets too big here in his second year? And he said, well, maybe a little bit. He said, then he stopped himself and he said, there are enough things that he does wrong that I can jump on him about.
And I agree, Dave. This guy is an unbelievable football player and one of the best I've ever seen. And he's one of the best I've ever seen play the position. Any game, he can take over a game. And not only that, he's playing almost every snap.
Yeah.
You know, he's playing 90+% of the defensive linemen don't do that.
Why is he so great, Mike? For those who don't really understand.
Because, first of all, he's so strong. He has this natural strength that he can take on two men that are 300+ pounds, and he can handle two men. He's so quick. But what I don't think is really appreciated as much is how smart of a football player he is. The instincts that he has.
Instincts, that's the big word.
The instincts that he has, the smarts to study a player that's going to play in front of him and understand what that player does, understand when that player is going to pull. He pretty much, based on down and distance and the stance that player comes out in front of him, he pretty much understands what that player is going to do. So he's able to work off of that. He's a very smart and instinctive football player. You can tell that during the week he puts the time into film study and all of these things, working with Clint Hurt. He understands going into the game what he needs to do and the strengths of that guy across from him.
It's interesting to hear Mike use the word instincts because we lost a very dear friend, all of us, several weeks ago, Bill Berge, when he passed away.
Yes.
And I remember talking to people on the team about Bill Berge, how he would crush people and the crowd would yell, Berge, 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 and the power. And one of the guys took me aside one day. He said, let me tell you something, Merrill. He doesn't hit any harder than anybody else, but he has such amazing instincts arriving at the right place. He doesn't have to think. Instinctively, he knows exactly where to go.
I can tell you that's why Nakobe Dean's so effective.
Same thing.
Because Nakobe Dean is, quite honestly, he's slow.
Yeah.
But is it slow?
Yes.
But he plays fast
because he knows he can trigger, he can understand the play and the design of the play before it even happens, and he can trigger and get downhill and make stops on plays.
What makes Zach Bond so great?
Everything. First of all, he is a great athlete. If you go back in his history, he was a quarterback. He was a fantastic basketball player.
Yeah.
He was a track guy. He was just a great athlete. And so he gets a chance to play in the NFL, and they wouldn't even play him as a linebacker, as a stand-up. He was only a special teams guy. He played on the edge a little bit. But Vic Fangio looks at this guy and he says, oh, my, this guy is quite an athlete.
Yeah.
Let's try him somewhere else. And they put him at stand-up linebacker. And now the story starts to be really written.
The classic example of a coach putting a player in the right position to make plays, and Zach Bond has made all the plays.
Ever since the first game in Brazil, we watched the game and we said, who is this guy?
Well, and everyone thought in Brazil that, okay, it's a flash in the pan. He made some tackles, and, yeah, that's great. And then it goes to the next week, and then the next week, and then the next week. And then before you know it, he's an all-pro. He's one of the best linebackers in all of football.
Yeah, first-team all-pro. All right, we'll be back with Mike Quick right after this.
Hi, it's Pete from Chickie and Pete's. Wrap up your workday with the all-new Chickies and Pete's Happy Hour with unbeatable specials weekdays from 4 to 6 p.m. Enjoy half-price orders of Chickies medium tender wings, one of our tasty and delicious pizzas, or an order of mouth-watering hot, cold, or fried shrimp. Plus $3 domestic bottled beers, $5 Tito's, and $6 seltzers. It's the all-new Happy Hour, weekdays 4 to 6 p.m., only at Chickies and Pete's.
This is Tommy Green from the 1993 National League champion Phillies. Every champion needs a good game plan. BCWSA and I want to make sure you have a game plan when it comes to conserving our most precious resource, water. Whether you're washing dishes, brushing your teeth, or watering your garden, there are ways you can save water and save money. Visit bcwsa.net for tips on conserving water. BCWSA, proven.
A flawless occasion begins at the Capitol Grill. From the moment you step into the Capitol Grill, located in the heart of Center City, the experience is one of comfortable elegance. Whether you're looking to host a private affair, a perfect lunch stop, or dinner destination, start your occasion at the Capitol Grill today. Visit thecapitolgrill.com or call 215-545-9588. That's 215-545-9588 for the Capitol Grill, Center City.
Ventresca Limited, the Delaware Valley men's store, is located in historic Doylestown. For casual clothing in denim to business suits and tuxedos, Ventresca Limited has a large selection you have to see to believe. The experienced and knowledgeable sales staff can show you the many brand labels that have made Ventresca Limited in Doylestown a must for men concerned about their image. Select from Canali, Brax Jeans, Hickey Freeman, Johnson Murphy Footwear, and much more. Custom alterations are free. Visit Ventresca Limited on the web at ventresca.com. Hi, this is Merrill Reese, and I'm here to announce that the garage is always open. I'm talking about garage beer. Light beer, like it used to be. How refreshing. I believe my good friend Jason Kelsey even described garage beer as beer-flavored beer. There's a guy who knows beer. Find yours at drinkgaragebeer.com. Remember, the garage is always open.
Your day-to-day life is hectic between having to pick up the kids, make dinner, the countless other tasks that you got to get done. Rob's Automotive and Collision is there to make your life a whole lot easier. Make sure you take advantage of their spacious waiting rooms, the large flat-screen TVs, complimentary coffee and muffins, and free Wi-Fi. So even when you do have to stop, Rob's is there to make you feel right at home. Give Rob's a call today at 215-826-9200 for any of your auto repair needs.
At Penn Community Bank, we're in the business of building thriving communities. That means breaking down the barriers to home ownership, supporting fair, affordable access to housing from Philadelphia to the Lehigh Valley, like our Home Opportunity Mortgage that empowers eligible borrowers with no minimum credit score, no down payment, access to grant programs, and so much more. Visit PennCommunityBank.com/home for more details. Penn Community Bank. Here we grow. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender. Account and feature terms, restrictions, and conditions apply.
Planning to go to the game? Give LimoToday.com a call. You'll get to the game and back safely and in style. Why worry about the traffic and parking when you can relax and let LimoToday.com do the driving for you and your friends? And if you book a 5-hour trip with LimoToday.com, you'll get the 6-hour free. From sedans to minibuses to vans and stretch limos, let LimoToday.com get you to the game. Give them a call at 1-866-LIMO-TODAY. That's 1-866-LIMO-TODAY.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA. Once again, here are your hosts, Eagles insider Dave Spadaro and voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, Merrill Reese.
And back we are here at Chickies and Pete's in the Great Northeast on this chilly night as the Eagles get set for the NFC Championship game. You know, it's the first time since 1981 that the Eagles are playing a championship game against an NFC East opponent.
Whoa.
Do you remember 1981?
It was long before my time.
It was Dallas, wasn't it?
It was Dallas.
Yeah. Oh, January
11th.
January 11th.
January 11th, 1981. Yeah. And I can still remember Wilbert Montgomery exploding off the right side, the blocks, Woody Peoples, and Jerry Sizemore. And as that number 31 disappeared into the end zone, everybody at the Vet knew the Eagles were headed to Super Bowl 15.
Did Harold Carmichael get a block on that play?
I don't know. I just saw Sizemore and Petey Perreault. And he was gone. Wilbert was gone. And Wilbert was wonderful.
All right, so, Merrill, that leads into a really good topic. Saquon Barkley, the latest and greatest running back in history. And I don't think a lot of people remember how great Wilbert was. 79 through 81, he was relatively healthy. His numbers were huge. Where do you place what Saquon is doing right now relative, guys, to the greats?
Well, I won't go back into the 40s to Steve Van Buren, but in the more modern days of the Eagles, Saquon Barkley is the best back in Eagles history. He is the best. Wilbert was wonderful. Brian Westbrook was wonderful. Deuce Staley had a great career, even though he wasn't very personable. Ricky Waters was very, very good. And, of course, Shady McCoy was a great back, but nobody approached what we are seeing from Saquon Barkley.
I think it really helps the fact that you have probably the best offensive line in all of football.
It does.
If you look at this offensive line, 3 of these guys are going to the Pro Bowl. A 4th one should be going to the Pro Bowl. And this offensive line, first of all, the scheme. I think schematically they're one of the best coached, best and well-prepared offensive lines in all of football. But then when you look at the size and the strength of these guys, they're bigger than everyone that they play against. And your guy Chip Kelly said, "Big guys beat up little guys."
Not my guy, but he is a national champion today.
Listen, the fact that this offensive line is so good, they're so dominant, it helps that Saquon comes on home, because this is home for Saquon.
Yeah.
That New York thing, that was just not right.
That was just a hotel.
That was just not right.
Yeah.
So now he's at home where he should be, and he has a chance now to flourish for a long time.
Can I just jump in for 1 second?
Yes, please.
And I just want to say this: we talk about the offensive line, how great they are, but listen to this. At that time when Wilbert exploded, the guards were Petey Perot and Woody Peoples, who was a great player also with the 49ers.
Yeah.
The tackles were Stan Walters and Jerry Sizemore.
Yeah.
And the center
Guy
was
Morris.
Guy Morris.
Yeah.
That was, at that time, comparable to this line at this time.
Well, name a running back.
No,
name
no,
a
wait
running
a
back
minute.
who hasn't done it with a great offensive line. Don't you?
You
Need
can't do it
No,
without,
I'm
unless
not
you're Barry
saying-
Sanders.
Yeah, I'm not saying, Mike, that if you put them against this line today, but at that time,
yes.
they were the best offensive line in the league.
Gotcha.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
What, Mike? You spoke about the scheme, and let's kind of start directing our conversation to the Commanders on Sunday. They have seen this scheme twice.
Yep.
Saquon has done a really good job against this scheme, or rather against the Washington defense. What is it about the scheme, and what does Kellen Moore change, if anything, going against an defensive unit that really has done a very poor job stopping the run all season?
So they are 30th, 29th in the league, the Washington Commanders, in stopping the run. They're not a good run-stopping team. And I don't think that that's going to change. I don't think they're going to grow and get
How
bigger.
have they been against the run in the playoffs?
Terrible. They got torched by the Lions. Ran for 200 yards on them.
Listen, you can follow Dan Quinn, their head coach, and his history, even in Dallas. His teams were not good run stoppers. I think he's a really smart coach. I think he's a very good coach. But in the run stopping category, his history tells you that that has not been a strength of his. I don't think that's going to change. They're not going to get bigger. They're not going to get stronger by Sunday. And this offensive line and the scheme that they come with, they move people around. They throw people around because they're bigger, they're stronger, and they're extremely athletic for guys who are 300-plus pounds.
Yeah.
Every one of them.
But what you're saying also is that this could be a shootout. If Washington's offense – no?
No.
I mean, they scored 45 points in Detroit. Do you think the Eagles can hold them to under 30?
So I think the strategy going into this game has to be the long, methodical drives, time-consuming drives, getting 7 points at the end of those possessions.
Keeping Jaden Daniels on the bench.
And keeping up Jaden Daniels. That offense on the bench.
What can Dan Quinn do now? We saw Los Angeles really take some chances. They appeared to run blitz a lot, as much as us. I mean, they were playing downhill football, bringing safeties, had great gap discipline. And Saquon, other than those 2 runs, really didn't get much going. He had 24 carries and 64 yards. So in a copycat league, will Washington do the same thing on Sunday and force the Eagles to keep Jalen Hurts in the pocket and make him throw the football?
Well, that's what they'll try and do, for sure.
That's what everybody kind of tries to do.
Yeah, they'll try and do that. And, yes, they'll stop the run for a while, but in time you start to wear them down because I go back again to these big old guys that are going to be leaning against their guys. They'll at some point start to move them and start to wear them down on the other side because they're bigger, they're stronger.
Well, how about the Washington running backs? You have Brian Robinson, number 8. And this time, and the last time they didn't have him, number 30, Aaron Eckler.
Austin
Eckler.
So that guy worries me more than Brian Robinson does because of how explosive he is, how they use him in pass catching and getting him out in space. The guy, he just reminds me of like those Darren Sproles type of guys,
Bigger.
but bigger and
Bigger.
faster.
Yeah.
And he can get out and they like him on the gadget stuff and getting him out on the perimeter. He's a problem when he gets the ball in space. Very explosive. So more than because I think so. Brian Robinson, you want him in a more conventional style, running back, doing all the things.
But he ran well against Detroit.
And he'll run well. He's a good running back.
Yeah.
But he's not the guy that's going to break the big plays down the field. Eckler can do that.
I mean, it is incumbent upon the Eagles to win up front. We heard what Vic said today. They're not going to bring blitzes. They're going to play it straight.
Not what he does.
They're going to rely on Jalen Carter winning at the line of scrimmage, which he should do. Let's remind people that the Commanders are without their best offensive lineman, right guard, I believe. Sam Cosme is out.
Yeah.
And that is a huge loss for a football team that relies on giving Daniels some space to make decisions. You don't want him to get to the edge with his legs. You don't want to give him too much time in the pocket. So you've got to blow up the middle. And I think, Merrill and Mike, I think that's where the Eagles win this football game, by dominating inside defensively.
All right, we'll be back with Mike and with Dave right after this.
I don't think Brian Robinson ran that.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's, and we are prouder than ever to partner with the Philadelphia Eagles. Chicky and Pete's has been named the official sports bar of the Philadelphia Eagles, and we continue to serve as the official caterer of both Eagles training camp and the official caterer of the First Trust Bank Club at Lincoln Financial Field. Go where the players go. The official sports bar of the Philadelphia Eagles, Chickies and Pete's.
Hey BCWSA customers, this is Tommy Green from the 1993 National League champion Phillies. My friends at BCWSA are committed to providing us with safe, reliable water and sewer services. They operate state-of-the-art treatment facilities, provide clean drinking water, and make much-needed investments to protect our environment and ensure a sustainable future. Learn how BCWSA's investments help grow and serve our communities. Visit bcwsa.net. BCWSA, proven.
A flawless occasion begins at the Capitol Grill. From the moment you step into the Capitol Grill, located in the heart of Center City, the experience is one of comfortable elegance. Whether you're looking to host a private affair, a perfect lunch stop, or dinner destination, start your occasion at the Capitol Grill today. Visit thecapitolgrill.com or call 215-545-9588. That's 215-545-9588 for the Capitol Grill, Center City.
Ventresca Limited, the Delaware Valley men's store, is located in historic Doylestown. For casual clothing in denim to business suits and tuxedos, Ventresca Limited has a large selection you have to see to believe. The experienced and knowledgeable sales staff can show you the many brand labels that have made Ventresca Limited in Doylestown a must for men concerned about their image. Select from Canali, Brax Jeans, Hickey Freeman, Johnson Murphy Footwear, and much more. Custom alterations are free. Visit Ventresca Limited on the web at ventresca.com. Hi, this is Merrill Reese, and I'm here to announce that the garage is always open. I'm talking about garage beer. Light beer, like it used to be. How refreshing. I believe my good friend Jason Kelsey even described garage beer as beer-flavored beer. There's a guy who knows beer. Find yours at drinkgaragebeer.com. Remember, the garage is always open.
Think banking hasn't changed? Think again. At Penn Community Bank, we've been helping communities thrive for 150 years. From our nationally recognized Access Checking that offers the peace of mind of no overdrafts, to student and free checking plus options with perks that will make you wonder what you did without them, like early direct deposit, overdraft grace, and Zelle. Learn more at PennCommunityBank.com/products. Penn Community Bank. Here we grow. Account and feature terms, restrictions, and conditions apply. Ask for full details. Member FDIC.
Planning to go to the game? Give LimoToday.com a call. You'll get to the game and back safely and in style. Why worry about the traffic and parking when you can relax and let LimoToday.com do the driving for you and your friends? And if you book a 5-hour trip with LimoToday.com, you'll get the 6-hour free. From sedans to minibuses to vans and stretch limos, let LimoToday.com get you to the game. Give them a call at 1-866-LIMO-TODAY. That's 1-866-LIMO-TODAY.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA. Once again, here are your hosts, Eagles insider Dave Spadaro and voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, Merrill Reese.
And back we are here at Chickies and Pete's in the Great Northeast. Merrill, Dave, and Mike. Just looking at the monitor in front of us as we sit here in a corner booth, there was a big picture of Ohio State's head coach, a guy that we knew a little bit about.
Yeah, he was
here
in Philly.
Yeah, Ryan Day.
Did you see they have a $20 million payroll?
They have
Player payroll.
They spent more in the nil money, $20 million to bring in players than any other team. You know who's number 2?
I was born too early.
Texas.
Oh, there you
Why?
go.
They paid you $14.95. They gave you clothes.
That was Harold.
that was
Paid
Harold.
me nothing.
They paid you nothing. Oh my goodness. You could have gone to
So,
Temple.
but what's cool is this NIL now. You're getting after last year, a lot more guys stayed in school rather than going to the NFL.
Yeah.
It's a big number. Like 50% of that number was cut going to the NFL, guys that were eligible to go because they're getting paid now to stay in college and play.
Well, how much do you think Arch Manning has made sitting on the Texas bench for the last 2 years?
He's probably made $8 million.
Yeah.
It's actually one of the reasons I think that rookie classes in the NFL are much more prepared to make an immediate impact. They're more mature. Their bodies are physically ready for this.
Have to be.
They've been involved in the game longer. And we're seeing around the league the rookie classes, and we've seen it for sure with the Eagles. It's remarkable that these kids are ready to come in and make a difference.
You know, I think you can say that by the time he eventually goes to the NFL, and he will, Arch Manning, by the time he arrives, will have made more money already in college than his grandfather, the great Archie Manning, did in his entire NFL career.
He may have done that already.
He may have done that already. Isn't that amazing?
Well, guys, it's time now for this week's injury review brought to you by the attorneys at Begley, Carlin, and Mandio.
You have come a long way.
Thank you, Merrill. Conduct the see, you just jinxed me. Contact them today for a free consultation at 215-806-3689. That's 215-806-3689. Important conversation here, fellas. We know that Quinyon Mitchell left the game on Sunday with a shoulder injury. He said after the game that he felt that he would play in the NFC Championship game. It has been reported that the injury is a stinger. Mike, I'm sure you've had a stinger in your carear.
I have.
Explain what that is.
I thought it was a drink.
You guys are good. You should work together.
It could be that.
It could be that.
I think it's just a shoulder injury.
Pinched nerve, right?
Yeah, it's a pinched nerve, and in time, in a few days, it'll go away.
Okay.
Yeah, I think if they had allowed him to, he would have tried to play.
All
Because, sometimes you get out there and you're caught up in the moment and you just want to play because that's what you do. I'm glad they didn't allow him to go back into the game because oftentimes guys do, and it just makes it worse.
How big would it be to have Q back in this game with Terry McLaurin, with Olamide Zaccheaus, with Noah Brown playing very well? The Eagles need that size, that
Diami
strength.
Brown.
And what's that?
Diami Brown.
Oh, I thought it was Noah Brown.
No, that used to be.
Diami.
He used to play for Dallas.
Okay.
This is Diami
Brown?
Diami Brown.
All right.
Yeah.
What number is he, Merrill? Number 2.
Number 2.
How big is it that Q is playing?
Big, because you need someone to cover number 2.
I thought Isaiah Rodgers played well, but it seemed like the Rams were content going vertical on him and giving their receivers a chance to catch those 50-50 balls.
Isaiah Rodgers played really well. He was in a couple of coverage situations where the ball was there. He was in perfect position, and he just got outplayed. Demarcus Robinson was –
Demarcus Robinson had one.
Demarcus Robinson, number 15.
Cooper Kupp had one,
He
right?
just took it from him.
Yeah.
They both had the ball at the same time. He's just bigger, stronger, and he took the ball from him.
Great. And then the other injury that we are all anxiously awaiting an update, and we won't get one until tomorrow, is the knee injury that Jalen Hurts suffered, went to the blue tent. We saw Kenny Pickett warming up on the sidelines.
Yep.
Then we saw Jalen scurry back to the field. He did not miss a play. Did not look necessarily as nimble-footed.
Really didn't
when
run
he came
after
back.
that.
Yeah.
But he said after the game, when he was asked about the injury, I went back in the game.
But that's all he said.
Any concern, fellas? What do we think we know?
I don't
about
know.
his knee injury?
I could start out by saying I know nothing. I absolutely know nothing about that because he's close-lipped, and Nick Sirianni doesn't tell you a thing about injuries, as he would put it, for competitive advantage. But he doesn't tell us anything about injuries.
No.
I believe that there's something there. I don't think Jalen Hurts will go into this game at 100% just from the way he seemed to be reacting after he came back.
I don't think it's serious, and I'm hoping that it's not, and I don't think it's a serious injury. We're not going to know until we see him out running around and doing what
now,
he
they
does.
did put a brace on his knee
They
when
put
he
a brace
went back.
on it, but just watching him walk after the game,
Yeah.
it didn't appear as if there was anything major going on there.
And we would agree that if he is out there, he must be a threat at the very least.
No question.
To run the football.
Yes.
No question.
Yes.
And, you look at the run that he had to start the game down the right sideline. It was a 40-yard run.
42 yards,
for
44
a
yards. Yep.
touchdown. So when your quarterback can do that, it just makes the defense so timid when it comes to attacking where they think the ball is going to go, because easily your quarterback can pull it and go out the backside. So defenses have to stay spread out, and while they're spread and you create an opening for Saquon Barkley, they can't catch up to him because of that threat of your quarterback holding onto the ball and running out the backside.
Let me ask you something else while we're on the injury track. Every week they print the injury list, who practiced, full practice, limited practice, out.
Yes.
Every week, and this has been going on for 10 weeks, it says A.J. Brown knee.
Yes.
What is with his knee? Is there something chronic there? Is he not able to play at 100%?
No, he has knee issues. He came to Philadelphia with knee issues.
Yeah.
When he was Tennessee, he had knee issues. And, the more you play, the more you on it, it doesn't get better. So they're doing the smart thing. He's not going to be able to go through a full week's practice and practice every snap and every play. You get what's most important, all the real pertinent stuff. You want to have him in there, but you want him to rest as much as you can so that he's able to play on Sundays.
But in the last 2 weeks, he has not been a major factor, and this week he missed uncharacteristically some passes. I know the weather was bad,
Yeah, that's
but
gonna
these
happen.
are passes he normally takes. Is the knee involved in that?
That's going to happen, but when I think about AJ, I just think he's such a dominant player.
He is.
You want to have him on the field. Do you know that in Sunday's game, it's the first time that he dropped the ball all season?
Is that right?
And he's been targeted nearly 100 times.
And I know you
It's the
told me
first
one time,
he
you
dropped
told
the
me that
ball.
in your entire career you never dropped a pass.
Never did.
Never.
Nope.
Never dropped a pass.
Never did.
In his entire
Receivers
career.
never drop passes.
Always open.
Always
Always
open.
but is it Mike and Merrill? Do you think that we will see A.J. Brown being A.J. Brown on Sunday?
Mike is in better position to say that
I
than
think so. So I know that, if you look at Dan Quinn and the way they like to play, Joe Vitt, the defensive coordinator, they are going to try and stack the box, put enough defenders in the box, and we're going to get a lot of one-on-one situations on the outside for the Eagles receivers. Dotson, A.J., Smitty, I think it's just a time for them to shine because
Why don't they look at Dotson more? I keep saying that to you.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
is open,
Yes, he is.
and he can catch and run.
He was
he
open.
can.
He was open on the one where he lined up in the
corner
slot.
route.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Well, there's your injury report, and we are keeping our fingers crossed that AJ is fine, that Jalen is fine, that Q is fine.
And for the most part, this team has been healthy.
Couple players.
Sure.
Here or there, you get a guy, but it's not like what happened to the Lions, where there's this rash of injuries and so many people going down. This has been a very healthy football team, fortunately. Yeah, you lost Brandon Graham early in the season. N'Kobe Dean is now out. But, boy, they've done such a fantastic job of getting people ready.
They did lose Bryce Huff for a while, but I'm not sure that matters.
No.
I'm just saying because he doesn't seem to be really
Yeah.
in the rotation.
And he's
for
healthy.
At all.
He's
And
healthy now
he
and
is-
not even playing.
He's not even
He's
playing.
been surpassed by Jalix Hunt, the fourth Eagles defensive rookie who's making an impact here. And
he can play, can't he? Hunt.
Oh, yeah. Hunt's going to be a really good football player.
Yeah. How about I like the fact that last week that Vic Fangio said that young Trot, that Jeremiah Trotter Jr. has a bright future, and
In
this
the NFL,
future might be
yes.
now.
And yet he didn't play with Oren Burks going the distance. How did Oren Burks play? He will be so key this week against the passing game of Austin Eckler, against the passing, the crossing routes they run, with the way they use Robinson, the speed of Jaden Daniels. Is Oren Burks up to this moment?
I think he played great in that game, and you just have to see more of it. But I love that Vic says he doesn't put any limitations on any of these guys. There's no ceiling on any of these guys, and he thinks that Burks can play. And, Merrill, you're right. Their plan going into Sunday's game was to play Trotter and Burks.
Yeah.
But Burks played so well, and every time he went onto the field, he did everything that he needed to do for the most part, and Trotter just never saw the field other than special teams.
I have to bring up something that I hate to bring up, and I guess I get too attached to players at times and consider them friends. But are you at all worried about Jake Elliott?
No, I'm not. And maybe it's because I just believe in Jake Elliott.
I do
and
too.
I know exactly how many kicks he's missed on extra point as well as field goals, but I just think Jake Elliott is as good as any kicker in the National Football League.
He has
to do
been.
what he did on Sunday in those conditions. That just magnifies it for me. That echoes my feelings going into watching Jake.
But you know what? When they came downfield, when the Rams came downfield with seconds to go, and all that went through my mind was Seattle and Drew Lock a year ago, how they plunged it into your heart at the very end. They said, let's see, the Eagles are up by 6 points, and there have been 2 extra points missed.
Yep.
You just can't miss extra points.
I think it's fair to be curious about what he's going to do to correct it.
Sure.
Because he's missing all of his kicks left.
Sure.
And you guys are the big golfers. If you're doing the same thing and you're hitting the results of the ball are misaligning,
yes,
you've got to make a correction.
It's
right.
It's correctable.
Yeah.
But every week, Michael Clay, who I think is a fabulous special teams coach, who should be a head coach one day, but every week he said, we're working on that. We know exactly what's wrong. And that fact of the matter is it has not been totally corrected at this point.
Correct. And by the way, Jake has done a really good job on kickoffs. He had 5 touchbacks.
That was great.
And that is going to be a key part of this game. In the last game in Landover, Maryland, Luke McCaffrey averaged 30-plus yards of return, had a 47-yard return. Washington started in great field position throughout the game. So every little piece of the puzzle is vitally important for Sunday as the Eagles look to go to their second Super Bowl in 3 seasons.
We will be back right after this.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Wrap up your workday with the all-new Chickies and Pete's Happy Hour with unbeatable specials weekdays from 4 to 6 p.m. Enjoy half-price orders of Chickies Meaty and Tender Wings, one of our tasty and delicious pizzas, or an order of mouth-watering hot, cold, or fried shrimp. Plus $3 domestic bottled beers, $5 Tito's, and $6 seltzers. It's the all-new Happy Hour weekdays 4 to 6 p.m. only at Chickies and Pete's.
This is Tommy Green from the 1993 National League champion Phillies. Every champion needs a good game plan. BCWSA and I want to make sure you have a game plan when it comes to conserving our most precious resource, water. Whether you're washing dishes, brushing your teeth, or watering your garden, there are ways you can save water and save money. Visit bcwsa.net for tips on conserving water. BCWSA, proven.
A flawless occasion begins at the Capitol Grill. From the moment you step into the Capitol Grill, located in the heart of Center City, the experience is one of comfortable elegance. Whether you're looking to host a private affair, a perfect lunch stop, or dinner destination, start your occasion at the Capitol Grill today. Visit thecapitolgrill.com or call 215-545-9588. That's 215-545-9588 for the Capitol Grill, Center City.
Ventresca Limited, the Delaware Valley men's store, is located in historic Doylestown. For casual clothing in denim to business suits and tuxedos, Ventresca Limited has a large selection you have to see to believe. The experienced and knowledgeable sales staff can show you the many brand labels that have made Ventresca Limited in Doylestown a must for men concerned about their image. Select from Canali, Brax Jeans, Hickey Freeman, Johnson Murphy Footwear, and much more. Custom alterations are free. Visit Ventresca Limited on the web at ventresca.com. Hi, this is Merrill Reese, and I'm here to announce that the garage is always open. I'm talking about garage beer. Light beer, like it used to be. How refreshing. I believe my good friend Jason Kelsey even described garage beer as beer-flavored beer. There's a guy who knows beer. Find yours at drinkgaragebeer.com. Remember, the garage is always open.
Your day-to-day life is hectic between having to pick up the kids, make dinner, the countless other tasks that you got to get done. Rob's Automotive and Collision is there to make your life a whole lot easier. Make sure you take advantage of their spacious waiting rooms, the large flat-screen TVs, complimentary coffee and muffins, and free Wi-Fi. So even when you do have to stop, Rob's is there to make you feel right at home. Give Rob's a call today at 215-826-9200 for any of your auto repair needs.
When an Eagles player gets hurt, the team takes care of him. When you get hurt, the attorneys at Begley, Carlin, and Mandio will take care of you. They understand that a severe accident can be a life-altering event. You need a reliable teammate to fight for you. The attorneys at Begley, Carlin, and Mandio will get you great results. And if there's no recovery, there's no fee. Contact them today at 215-750-0110 for a free consultation. 215-750-0110 for a reliable ally that's on your side. Planning to go to the game? Give LimoToday.com a call. You'll get to the game and back safely and in style. Why worry about the traffic and parking when you can relax and let LimoToday.com do the driving for you and your friends? And if you book a 5-hour trip with LimoToday.com, you'll get the 6-hour free. From sedans to minibuses to vans and stretch limos, let LimoToday.com get you to the game. Give them a call at 1-866-LIMO-TODAY. That's 1-866-LIMO-TODAY.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA. Once again, here are your hosts, Eagles insider Dave Spadaro and voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, Merrill Reese.
And back we are at Chickies and Pete's in the Great Northeast. Merrill Reese, Mike Quick, Dave Spadaro. We're talking a lot about the game, but let's move away from that for a moment before we pick the games for this weekend. What do you got? Oh, keys. I forgot the keys.
Yes.
All right.
Keys.
Let me see.
We
Let me
need to
read
know
the
the
card.
keys.
It is time now for this week's Penworth Financial Keys to the Game. The key to your financial future is Penworth Financial. Call them today at 267-997-4503 or visit penworth.com. David, key number one.
Well, I'm going to go back to the turnovers and just from a statistical standpoint say that the team that wins the turnover battle wins the football game. I can get into a lot of X's and O's, but at the end of the day, ball security is something Nick Sirianni has preached every single day of the season. And the way this Eagles defense has taken the football away +6 in 2 playoff games, I'm impressed. And if they can get the ball away from Jaden Daniels like they did down in Landover, Maryland, the Eagles will go to Super Bowl 59.
Okay, I will give you a key. Keep the corners well contained. Don't let Jaden Daniels get outside and turn the corner and race for 15 yards. You have got to play very disciplined football and guard those corners.
Yeah, he's a pain.
He is.
He's automatic, isn't he?
He is so good. He actually, he's one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch.
Well,
he's
he
a lot
is.
of fun. He's really, really good.
Is he the next Mahomes?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's special. He's a special football player. He's one of these kids you watch him play, and it's like he never, like the heart monitor never moves. It's just flatline. He's just calm. He's just poised. He seems to never be hurried or under pressure. He's just a calm-headed kid.
You know, Chrissy Gibson from WIP texts me each week for one of these, Did You Know? Because we have the commercial for Did You Know?
Yeah.
So I give her one back, and I wrote it this week. Did you know that Jaden Daniels played at LSU, but before that, he played at San Diego State for Herman Edwards, former Eagle.
Yep.
And Herman told you tweeted back and forth. He said he's a special
There
kid.
has to be a
Herman loves him.
there has to be a weakness though.
Yeah.
There has to be.
There has to be a weakness. You just hit him.
You hit him.
You hit him enough times, and you hit him enough times. So here's the thing about a young quarterback like that. He doesn't have the scars. He doesn't have the calluses, the history of being banged around, of having a lot of bad plays, of having bad things happen to him on the field. He's just happy-lucky and just having a great time playing in the NFL. He's a special athlete. He's really smart. I really believe that he did that virtual learning where you wear the virtual mask and you go through your reads and quickly, like making decisions like that. I think that really has helped him. If you watch the way he orchestrates the offense, he's just so quick in making his decisions and processing everything. That virtual mask for sure has helped him, and then he's an elite athlete on top of all of that.
And then, you know what? You see him at different times of the game, not in the bragging type of way, but smiling with his teammates. He looks like a kid.
He's enjoying
just out
it.
there. He's having fun.
Yeah,
it's like us during the broadcast.
Yeah, like you're in the backyard playing with your boys and you're just throwing it around having a good time.
That's what it looks like.
You guys are making me nervous.
Well,
I don't want to feel nervous.
Well, let me tell you this.
Don't be nervous.
Let me tell you this. I'll give you my key to the game.
Okay.
The key to the game is going to be winning the line of scrimmage. And in winning the line of scrimmage, the Eagles will be able to do it on both sides of the ball because of their offensive line, their defensive line. Yeah, it's fun to see the guys who can score the points and run fast, all of that stuff. But the game is in the trenches, and the Eagles will win the line of scrimmage on both sides.
I feel better.
All right, now that brings us to the prediction part of the game. And during the season, we stay away from the Eagles. But in the last couple of weeks, with only a few games, we have to put them in there. I lead Dave 66-40.
Whoa.
I have 66-40, and Dave is 60-38.
Yes.
So we're relatively close.
Oh,
so
That's because I always pick against Dallas. Merrill will take Dallas sometimes.
So now we have 5 points riding on these two games,
Okay.
and we will have 10 points riding on the Super Bowl. All right, gentlemen, first, even though it's the second game, Buffalo at Kansas City.
Well, I see that you have a B next to your name.
That's for Buffalo.
That's for Buffalo. And I too believe Buffalo will win the game. However, for the sake of trying to catch Merrill Reese, I've unfortunately got to go with Kansas City. I feel like they're a team that never beats itself. They are very well coached. They do not commit penalties. They do not drop passes. They do not miss kicks. They do not kick the ball out of bounds. Kansas City is my pick.
Mike, have you seen
You're
enough?
gonna catch him.
Have you seen enough of Taylor Swift and Caitlin Clark?
Oh, my gosh. I don't ever need to see
Never.
that girl again
Travis
in my
Kelce,
life.
Patrick,
I don't
Andy
need to
Reid.
see
I'm
any
sick of
that.
him. Sick of
tired
seeing
of
them.
that.
Who's going to win that one?
Kansas City's going to win that.
Kansas City's going to win that one.
Dave's going to
We'll
catch
catch
him
him.
for you there.
Okay, I'm picking Buffalo. I think Kansas City has been squeaking by in a lot of games.
I hope you're right.
I hope you're right, too.
I think this is Buffalo pupil Sean McDermott versus teacher Andy Reid.
Have you seen how well the officials treat the
Yes.
Chiefs? And
Yes.
More importantly, how well Steve Spagnuolo has built a rock-solid defense for the Kansas City Chiefs. And they will have an answer for Josh Allen's scrambling ability.
Spud, you're going to catch him.
All right, we'll see. All right, the other one, Washington and the Eagles.
Well, I'll go on a limb here and maybe be contrary to what you guys say, but I'm going to go with the Eagles in that one.
I am going to go with the Eagles.
And I'm going to go comfortably.
Last week, everyone laughed at me, not you, Mike, when I said the Rams were going to be very, very tough, weather or no weather, and they were. But this week, I think it's a very tight game. I am not confident. I do believe the Eagles will win. They'll have to play well, play their best. I think they will win, but I think this one will go deep until the fourth quarter, and I promise my wife I will not say the Eagles have got it with any 4 minutes left.
Yes.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea because you really shook me up with that on Sunday.
But wait a minute, you joined me.
No, not really.
I could see you looked confident.
Yeah.
All right.
but I'm thinking, what is he thinking about?
Are you
right
picking
here?
the Birds?
I am absolutely picking
You're
the Birds.
absolutely picking the Birds.
You know what I think a difference is going to be? I remember the feeling the players had leaving Landover, Maryland, guys. We all got on the buses and left after losing to the Washington Commanders, and how upset the team was at the celebration on the field.
I was mad.
By the Washington Commanders.
I was mad.
I
I don't get those emotions too much after games, but after that game, I watched how the Washington fans and the players were celebrating like they had won the Super Bowl. pissed me off.
Yeah.
I was mad.
And I think that plays a factor in
Okay,
this
I
game.
also felt the same way when the team got on the bus after the Super Bowl in New Orleans, after losing to the Oakland Raiders, and they were really angry, and they said, we'll be back next year, and they weren't back for 26 more years. All right, we're out of time. We thanks to our technical director, Chris Ermer, and our producer tonight was Lee Alexander, who did absolutely nothing.
He did
so
nothing.
For Mike,
Can you guys promise
Lee
to work?
ate.
Can you guys promise to try to work together again?
We
Wait a
will.
minute. Hold on. Lee ate Chickies and Pete's and talked to Cindy, and that's all he did.
That's all he
done.
did.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will be back next week. And join Mike and me on Sunday afternoon as the Eagles meet the Washington Commanders for the NFC Championship.
Go Birds! Go Birds!
You're listening to 1490 WBCB and on your FM dial at 107.3 W297CL.